from just outside and just inside the perimeter of Atlanta, Georgia, where we felt some dread until Orlando saw double red.
Double red?
I'll put glasses on for that.
Shades on. That's for you, Pat. It is the Five Takes podcast, and we are back. Who's got the we're back line?
Are we? Are we back?
We're back, baby.
Is this what it feels like to be back?
We're back. We're back like Mission Impossible. And our mission, should we choose to accept it, may not be quite as impossible as we thought only 6 points ago. It's crazy what it will do for you. We're winning the cup. Okay, Jack, you're free to leave now.
Wow. Never say those words again.
So if you're not watching the video portion of this, tonight we've got Amy with us. And we got Jack Stat Attack. Jack is back for his bi-annual drop-in to the pod.
Every 4 to 5 months on a non-consistent basis at this point.
Pat was going to be on tonight, but he had a giant tree fall in his front yard and took out his power. Yep, took out his power, so he's not here. Kat is still on sabbatical, and Jennifer is up in the air somewhere, heading over the South Pacific. She was going to airdrop in a little video of her takes, or some audio at least, but I guess the Wi-Fi on the plane is not as strong as we thought it was.
My last update was that they were completely over the Atlantic Ocean. So they're almost halfway there.
Okay. Well, expect occasional drop-ins from Jennifer as she tours around Southeast Asia and visits and reviews virtually every dumpling spot that there is known to man. So that'll be fun. I'm sure we'll get her takes on the match and probably more takes on the food than anything else. Even though now it's actually kind of fun to talk about the team again, which hasn't been the case in a long time. But here we are with hope and optimism and more wins than LA Galaxy.
I forgot about that. They suck this year, right?
They are in fact now tied for the worst, or are they the sole owners? I know they're at 16 games without a win and 4 solitary points, I believe, unless they got a tie last night.
No, they did not. They lost 1 goal to San Jose.
Oh dear, they are.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. I saw that goal. It was a nice goal. From Buddha off the bench, I think.
Yeah. No, they're bad.
Yeah.
Wow. It's bad.
It could be a lot worse, y'all. I know it doesn't feel like it could be a lot worse, but it could, in fact, actually be a lot worse.
They could tie the record. I believe it's 19 games, and this was back in the old school MLS, and I believe it is held by the Metro Stars.
Yeah, it's been a long time since somebody was quite this stinky, y'all. A long time.
Yep.
You'd think they were playing for a draft pick or something, the way that they're just blowing the games, just gone.
Tanking for the number 1 pick.
You know, that college soccer draft, man. Though we got lucky.
We did.
First season.
As far as utilizing the draft,
Miles
we have used it.
And Julian Gressel. That first draft.
2 of the best players in MLS.
And starting U.S. men's national team center back. That's pretty good, y'all. It still kills me that Miles sat under Tata too. It's just the best story. But anyway, I digress. He's not ours anymore, so we don't care.
Nope.
So if you're listening to this in your car or on your headphones and you find yourself turning up the volume on Amy's voice, bless her heart. She's not used to screaming in frustration, anger, agony is different than joy, and we are not used to those specific vocal cords. We got to warm them up again. Got to get used to it. So Jamie, she's struggling a bit tonight.
You know, I was a bit hoarse after the win on Sunday, but I thought, I'm going to power through this. I'm fine. And then, I said, okay, I'm going to be good. I'm going to bring my Clacker fan so that I don't feel like I have to yell so much, and this will be great. And then they had to go and play that game and blow the absolute doors off the bins. And, when you least expect it, something amazing might just happen, y'all. Just saying.
feel like somebody said that.
Twice. I'm going to keep cashing that as long as the team can take it. I'm sure it will run out shortly for all of our sakes. But that was truly incredible, though, right? Like, it was a performance worthy of losing one's voice. For somebody that likes to talk as much as I do, that is high praise.
That's good. That's good.
Jack, how are your vocal cords? What's your view on what we saw last night? What we've seen on the past couple games? Maybe you can even go 3 games because Philly match wasn't bad. I think the performance was okay. Didn't get the result, but
Right. Yeah. I don't think I watched that match. Oops. But I will say, last night I did. Once we got it's deeper into the second half, being down one sucked, but I was like, okay, we're not playing like we usually have been when we go down one or when the tide starts shifting, because it has been once we turn the wrong way, the steering wheel breaks. That's it. Like, we are going in that direction until the match is over, and that is it. No, we haven't had the ability to bounce back or anything like that. But they felt so much more composed. We've all seen that the last couple of matches. And once we got that second goal, the third one felt inevitable. Granted, we were out of their 20-minute power play effectively with the man up, and Orlando was so out of sorts. Like, you could tell from the vibes that it's like, okay, Orlando does not have this all together right now. If we got one, it wouldn't have been surprising. And then we put more speed in there, then that's it. So if it felt like if the score feels like what that game should have been to me, honestly, like that, like where we landed was like that is where how as well as we played and how poorly we played in a couple of spots, and then how well Orlando played. I was low enough at this game. It was front row, section 124. Got lucky for the seat. I got a good sense of how frustrating it is when we play when basically we play within the 30-yard lines of both boxes, just in the middle of the field, and our line's way too high, and Orlando's line like knows how high up they need to be and keep their keeper in play and knock. Like, there was multiple moments I felt like, okay, get it to Latte, but their keeper's reading that, and he was 5 yards on top of the box, and it's like, well, they take away the Latte play. Like, we can't throw the post route anymore because they knew how to defend that pretty well, which most teams are going to be able to defend that. I was glad we managed to get all these goals and have majority possession, because it feels like we need to counter, we need to use speed to score a lot, and we didn't exactly. We could use Orlando just sucking for the last 25 minutes more than anything to pull this off. So that was just being able to step on a team's throat. That's not a thing they've done with Diley yet at all, and so doing it basically twice in a row is pretty good.
I think
Orlando decided to grab a throat.
This is true. This is true.
Look.
What are you thinking in that moment? One of their best players, and I've never understood this about hands to the face. Like, I understand your passion, heat of the moment, you lose your head and stuff. Like, just push him in the chest. Why always with the throat grab, and the ref, Mr. However, is 2.5 feet from you? Are you out of your mind?
Yeah, and even he didn't miss that one, though. He missed some things earlier on, but I digress. No, what I have to say is that I think that Mateusz Klich is a dark arts master. And I'm just saying, I don't know exactly what transpired.
Yep.
But there was some dark arts going on in that moment, because that guy was so angry. I mean, so angry and enraged. And he did that in that split second. And then Klich was like cool as ice, right? And you could see, like, I watched the replay and they showed him, he was like, and you just saw what he was like saying to the guy and everything. And remember a couple games ago when he had that smart play that got the guy the yellow card, he kicked it into his legs or whatever. Like, it's not the first time we've seen this shades routine from Mateusz Klich.
Yeah,
I'm liking it. I'm liking it.
Yes, Slim Shady throwing shades. The blonde clique is the best clique.
Right? Right? It was clutch. And I have to say that it was also very nice. While it was a roller coaster and not all of the luck went our way, we did actually have some moments of luck that broke our way, which when you are having a streak of feeling down on yourself, it feels good, and it can help you kind of get over that psychological hump when you have a bad play like the Derek Williams mistake, right? And I liked coming out of that, the Goose immediately went up to him, tapped him on the head, no big deal, whatever, move on, right? Immediately out of your head. And while it's true that it took the red card, right, and going up a man to get the tying goal, I never really felt like that was out of reach. I didn't feel like the team was like falling apart like we could have.
Okay.
Um, so then when we had the, bit of luck, dark arts, whatever you want to call it, of Orlando basically shooting themselves in the foot,
Yeah, they lost their minds.
you know,
They
and
lost their minds.
and then I feel like everybody is here for whatever this emergence of the, you know, Saba, Marenchuk, uh, who am I
Mm-hmm.
thinking of?
Miggy.
Bartosz,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
Incredible.
little connection that's happening. It's been really nice, especially as Miggy and Latte continue to kind of, I think, struggle to figure out. I'm not sure that we totally. I said the person I wanted to see the most, right? This match was Latte, and that I'm not totally convinced that this is quite working for him and Miggy yet. But it's the best. It's the best thing for the team, and so I kind of feel like at this point they're just going to have to adapt,
Right.
and it'll be interesting to see how that evolves.
They
And
were
maybe Jack, I give you credit because I was frustrated at the beginning of the match, not understanding why we were playing so much behind ourselves
Yeah.
and direct in. And naively, I guess I was not seeing the exact space, but still, it was frustrating not to see balls going into space in the
Right.
beginning, and it felt
I was really frustrated by that too, because I was on the side of the field that Saba was on when we were attacking away from the supporter section during that part, which you may have noticed we didn't exactly try to play through Ronald that much at all. And I did check FotMob; he lost the most duels of the match with 7.
Ronald's an excellent player, and I love him, but he's not a left back. Like there
No.
is a drop off between him and Amador.
He was out of once Amador got
offensive perspective,
right. Once Pedro went out there, it got a little bit more balance and things like that. We could play equally both sides. So like they did need to push that way, and there was times where there was just spots open. That this is my drawback on Baranchek is there was enough little spots I can notice. Like okay, you turn quickly, just play it into space. Someone will get there. Someone will get there. Miggy can get there, and there was enough of those times where it didn't feel like they're not all the way there on that. Where like you knew with the peak fully pressing version of Ronnie Ball, where it's like if you got space, go. They're not doing that yet every single time. I don't know. They got a lot of balls in. There was a lot of chances they were trying to get to Latte too. Like Latte was up in the air, really tall, multiple times trying to get balls. They were not putting the right spots. So they're
just inches, right? He's missed
right.
by inches 6 times now.
Right, yeah, he's getting there. Yeah, there's other versions of this match where depending on how a ball gets off a foot, this thing is Latte may have 2 or 3 shots on target that are pretty good versus the ball just landing right at Moranchuk's feet and he's able to just pound one in. So there's if Moranchuk did have the top rating on FotMob, which I'm guessing is because he scored a goal more than anything.
And he got an assist and a hockey assist, Jack.
Yeah,
Moranchuk was gigantic in that match. He's man of the match.
I mentioned that
150%.
Slits was right behind him, and I think the differentiator was that fall to him goal that put his rating just above Bartek. But yes, it was good. Once things settled in and they were playing be able to stretch that game out and not play as compressed, it was so much better.
It's also the second game in a row that he has been our best performing DP and has come up clutch when we've needed. He had 2 assists in the last game. And
yum. We'll get to me eating my words potentially.
And I'm just so glad to see the rest of the team getting on the same page with Alexi.
Yes.
That's big. That's the big thing. Yeah.
Because it was undeniable that they were not connecting. You could have reasonable disputes over who you wanted to put that blame at the feet of. But what we've seen in the moments when we've played excellent and where we've had differentiation, I continue to say it's because we're starting to anticipate. And previously, it was almost comical the way that we would misunderstand
Benny Hill
where
theme.
we were going. Yeah. And so, maybe it was just being optimistic. We can ride some of this momentum into this road streak. And I really am happy that the 2 teams that we had to beat to get here, they weren't teams we were expected to beat. They're not
top teams.
They're top teams.
Very good teams.
That should give you confidence.
It should.
That you can go on the road and get the New York Red Bulls. Have they been your boogeyman at times? Yes, but we've gotten that monkey off our back. Okay. I
Yeah.
think we can do it if we believe and the guys show up with the momentum that they left that building with.
Yeah, Jennifer asked all of us on the last episode what would make each of us believe in this team again. And we said, well, for sure, get the win over Orlando. We did. You really want to know what's going to make me believe? Getting our first road win of the year in a place where we've never won.
Yeah.
To make it 3 straight regular season wins. When's the last time we've done that? I'll be happy with a draw, but you want to talk belief. That feels like a real season turning point. Like you beat 2 top teams that are very good and are going to be in the postseason. And then you go and do it at Red Bull for your 3rd match in a week. After that, after expending all that energy, that would be a real eye-opening moment, I think. And that would turn heads around the league, in my opinion.
This feels like a game that I really want to buy a last-minute companion pass just to
believe me,
see what happens.
As soon as the full-time
I don't want to
whistle
go
went,
anywhere near Newark,
I real quick hopped on kayak.com, just looked to see if there was a last-minute flight, something. I am gonna catch one of the road matches. I am gonna go up to Columbus. Okay. So I'll be there for that. I'm excited for that. I've never been to lower.com field. Looks like a great venue, great experience. So I'm excited to go for that. But I just can't believe this is where I'm at. Because I would have never thought about, I'm not going on the road to see these guys 6 points later. And I'm just like, how many can I get to? Can we go? How do I get there?
I'm seriously considering it now in the back of my head, even with my hoarseness. I'm like, could I
do it?
Could I get away?
Well, the next one after that is still in New York, the actual New York. So
Jersey in the middle, smack down nowhere.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, for sure.
True. It would be probably more fun, but would it be like
are we playing
New
York?
This could possibly be.
Are we playing City? Do we know if we're playing them at which baseball stadium are we playing them at? City Field or Yankees?
Yankee
Stadium. All right. Gosh. I am looking forward to New York actually getting their stadium. The renderings look great, so that should be a really good thing for them. And it's about time because they are a pretty decent club. They've won stuff with Ronnie. So it's about time. It's just a bad look for the league to be playing on a
right. They're still MLS cupless. You saying that's a bad look for the league?
No, City's won one.
Oh, City.
Red Bull. At least they have a stadium. At least they have a stadium. Shit.
Right.
City sometimes has to go and play at Red Bull Arena. How awful is that? Go play at your rival's stadium. It's not even yours. It's not even like a co-owned stadium like Inter and AC Milan. Where they both have the same rights.
No, it's a totally different thing, and it is obnoxious to those fans. I do have one friend who's an NYCFC fan, and he actually lives in Pennsylvania. And he would drive from Pennsylvania up to the City games.
Respect.
But when it would go to when it go out to Red Bull's arena, that was just like a bridge too far,
I get it.
So, to get over there. And so
I totally understand that, man. I wouldn't
the
want to
City fan base is not just even right there,
Yeah,
so
make it really difficult. You put the burden on your fans, but that's getting rectified, thankfully. All right, let's get to some comments on social media. Thank you, everybody, for submitting these once again. Let's start off with X, our usual spreadsheet jockey, always commenting, and I hope we get to see him tomorrow night at Decatur FC. Amy and I will be there. It's going to be a good time. So he feels it was an incredible game. He's really proud of the team for seizing the moment and using the momentum swing. Momentum's a real thing. From that red card to go for the jugular. Funny he puts it that way.
Well, and when
reference.
I mean, when I love that.
Yeah.
Very clever spreadsheet jockey.
He also thinks that Ronnie's right. This isn't sustainable. Like, we can't just do chaos ball every time. We do need Stien back soon because Derek can't, he makes one mistake. It's okay. And Abby, Absterschiff on X thinks that Derek mistake was a fluke. I don't know if I call it a fluke. He's had his mistakes. It's a mistake. I don't think it's a fluke, like a one-off, like he's never done that before. It's a mistake. He plays it wrong.
Yeah.
And it's unfortunate because I think they were exploiting him. They were hitting that direct ball again and again and again. And, and then they got it, and then he messed it up. It's a mistake, but I don't know if I'd call it fluky on him. I'm not saying he does it
No,
all the
and
time,
that's
but
and that's not only on him. That's on the other guys that saw that there's a guy on him. You've got to yell at him, kick the shit out of that ball as far away as you like. Even
Let's
if it's
clear it. He should have just
this,
cleared it
he
off
did
the
that at
bat.
the
Even if
end of the
it's-
game really well
fine.
when there was a
Right.
ball on the touchline, and he could have played it back to Goose or whatever. He just booted that thing. He's like,
oh yeah, he
fucking
figured
around
that.
this time.
Yeah. No, there was multiple people at fault for that goal.
Yeah.
I think what
T-Peg-
Abby is maybe
Oh, go
getting
ahead. Sorry.
at versus like I think what
Yeah.
Abby may be getting at versus like fluky is I think
Yeah.
and I think all of us feel this way. Like it was a mistake. Has Derek had a couple of those? Yes, he's human. But the fact is, and I couldn't believe this stat when I heard it, we haven't won without him. The guy is a critical part of our back.
Well, we haven't won a lot.
Like we haven't won a lot,
Yeah.
but the ones that we have,
Okay.
he's been there. Okay,
Yeah.
and that guy that used to be Miles. Okay, that
True. And then
we didn't
Stian.
win
We have a
without.
winning record with Stian, by the
Stian.
way, too, when he starts.
So right. So it's isn't it an
I hear you.
excuse? Yes, but
I hear you.
it happens.
Yep.
So I think
Yep,
I think
it happens.
Abby is maybe just trying to express that we still
Okay.
have confidence in Derek Williams, and I think we all do. It's just you're a human being. You're going to make mistakes. I just
Yeah,
hope
that's
that
fine.
he's gotten those out maybe for the foreseeable future.
I hope so too. I do like what you said earlier about that mistake, and Brad and others immediately going over to him and like, pick him up. Let's go. Gotta go. It's all good. Let's go. I do like that response from the team. TPEG88 says that Man Chuck, was fantastic the past 2 games. Sleesh as well. And if Jay ever returns to the bench, we riot. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Integral part of this team. Captain material, I think. Maverick picks
100%.
on X. Also, Orlando let Atlanta control the ball. They were counting on exposing them on the counter, which they did. In the end, though, that tactic sucks when you are down a man. Good for Atlanta United to actually take advantage of the man advantage. And let's be real, we have had man advantage before and didn't, and still lost and gave up a goal. So it seems like we learned our lesson from that, maybe?
Through the New York Red Bulls one time, I think. With a 10-man New York Red Bulls team beat us. That really hurt. So
Yeah.
anyway, I was glad to see, like you, and I really loved the subs from Dyla. I think it was really nice to see the just 100% we are going for it. We believe we are going to do this because we've coughed up so much that you couldn't totally blame a guy if that late you're trying to just make sure that you don't screw it up. But I
Right.
loved that everybody was just 100% in. We're taking this win.
To be fair, the other people on the bench were Jaden Hibbert, Efrain Morales, Will Riley, and Luke Brennan. So the options of who you were
Options
going
were
to put
slim.
that like
I'm
they-
just saying.
yeah.
Yeah. No, that's fair. It's fair.
There are a couple people
We're slim on
asking-
defense at the moment.
For sure. There are a couple people asking, though, why not start Noah Cobb over a Luis Abram, who, let's be real, probably will be jettisoned this summer, along with Edwin Mosquera, which, of all the subs, like, why are you shooting from 30 yards out? He wasn't great, I don't think, but Edwin hasn't been great in a minute. He's had his clutch moments, though, and he's had a clutch moment,
Edwin
I
has
think,
been
against
a
Red
super
Bull.
sub
So.
for us to the extent that we've had anybody
Right.
that came in. Edwin's
Right.
been a consistent performer in that sub role, and I think that's probably why he's a little frustrated.
Maybe.
And I get it, but he's just an odd man out right now. Like sometimes
Yeah.
you just end up in that position. I think I'm a little bit concerned that Brooks may be looking at a little bit of that with
Yeah,
the
look,
way that
I
this
mean,
has been
I don't-
working. And I'm
Can't-
not necessarily in favor of that, but I also
I am.
see
I'm
what
in
is
favor of
happening with
whoever's-
Saba, and
whoever's hot.
At the end of the day, it may be he's
Yep.
now a 30-minute sub for Saba.
That's fine. I mean, we've got match compression now anyhow. If Brooks can go
Yeah.
this Saturday, which seems unlikely,
He said he was questionable for this last match, so I guess it's possible. But if you're
maybe he
about
gives
to
you
go into
30.
a
Maybe
break,
he is the sub.
maybe it's
Saba
30
start,
minutes.
and
Right.
if Saba goes 60, you bring in Brooks. Maybe. Ziggy Lucius on X read, because I'm glad that somebody picked up on my little, what do you call the mark above a letter? the hash to emphasize the pronunciation of it. He read duels like Frank DeBoer, duels
Duels.
in the takes. Yes, we say duels on this pod. We will have no Frank DeBoer disrespect on this show. Over to Instagram, Scott Danielson. Yet again, he is reminded of how much he dislikes Orlando. He really appreciated the shit-eating grin on Cleek's face after the red card was issued. That was a wonderful moment. I agree.
Dark arts.
Who else we got on Insta here? Josh B 1017. Hey, we didn't give up a goal from minutes 45 to 60. Though we sure tried.
Yes, we made it through the hour of doom.
Yep. Felt the midfield was really good. And if we could connect them properly to Latte Lot and Miggy, things could get interesting.
Might really have something.
Might have something there. And Soul Runner with a long comment. Let me read through this one. The score didn't dictate the feel of the match through the first 45. The first one, I think, just caught us off guard and gave Orlando too much space, and we paid for it. I was glad to see the response from us. The guys didn't hang their heads. We dug in and found the equalizer. The second one was just unfortunate because of Derek. Yeah, just a mistake. And, the big news again, we survived minutes 45 to 60. And I agree. He still seems like Miggy and Latte Lot are a step off. Not quite sure how to play with each other. Agreed. But it does feel like a different team to him. I agree. It feels very not what we've seen lately from a high level, from big picture.
And at least for right now, I've been concerned about the sort of thought process of Latte, especially with TRA coming off the bench again and getting that clutch goal, right? But I have to say that I watched they had some sideline cameras of him when he was like subbed off on the bench. You see some of the after game stuff, and it seems to me like he is a team guy. And I think I saw him kind of congratulate Saba or tell him, really good job kind of thing. And when you're a guy that's come in like he did with the expectations that are on him and the money and the everything, and you're playing out of position and, all of this stuff, I have some respect for Latte at this moment. He didn't let his temper get out of control this game. Even though I did see him very frustrated, he was coming back and he did start to descend backwards, further as the game wore on. And I did see the guys trying to get the ball to him, and it was just, he was an inch off that header, that Saba puts over his head. But I'm feeling a little hopeful for that, a little more than I was after the last game. I was really tenuous about it. I feel like he seemed genuinely happy that the team was moving forward. And I'm beginning to wonder if there may be something really simple here going on with him, and that's that the dude just needs a break, because we forget that he played the full championship season, right? So like he just kind of came in and then kept going. So wouldn't he normally have had kind of
he would be having a break now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right
So
about
this
now.
international window, maybe he just needs a break. Maybe if we can have
He's
a
been
really
playing a lot
good
of football.
result, we can have a good result against the Red Bulls. Maybe all our guys can come back.
That's a lot of
refreshed
pressure.
and-
He was the man. He's come over here expected to be the man again. But
Right.
we do expect top players to handle top pressure situations well. And
Absolutely, but they're still human
that's not gonna
beings, and you never know.
we forget that. We do
how it's
forget
gonna
that
go.
for sure. Last comment on BlueSky from Patrick Sullivan. I might not be the only one eating words. That's comforting. He might have to eat his words on Alexi and Schleich as well, because they both have 2 solid games. I'd argue almost 3 solid games. I know the result wasn't there. I get it, but might be coming up on 4. We'll see what we do. Feels the 2 Orlando goals were flukes, mistakes. I disagree with the word fluke, but semantics. But they're mistakes. Mistakes happen. But it's not. Fluke is like, oh, that's never happened before. No, it has. But felt the team got the tying goal. They could after we got the equalizer that we could grab the win, and we did, and we had a fun night, which is, I think, what everybody's just been clamoring for, is just to have a bit of fun. The team players seem like they're having more fun. Ronnie's talked about that a lot. He brought in puppies, took them go-karting, and nothing will be as fun as well, those are all fun things. I love puppies. I love go-karting. I like winning more.
Yes.
Winning is a beautiful
Agreed.
salve, and it fixes just about everything. Speaking of fixes, coming up with my own segue.
Oh,
If you could,
look at
yeah,
this.
you missed the
I
Mason
saw
Mill
the-
segues, didn't you? Yeah, get you fixed, get you right over at Mason Mill, our sponsor for many years that have been riding with us almost from the jump. And I've been going to them long before I even started this pod with Kat. Give them a call, 404-321-0082. Ashley or Rachel will be on the other end of the line and get you set up with your appointment. Actually, I don't believe Ashley is there anymore. She's had some family stuff to deal with, but they'll still get you set up with your appointment with Dr. Cohen or Dr. Miner. And you can find them on the web at masonmillchiro.com. They are located in Decatur, Georgia, right down the road from Decatur High School, where we will be tomorrow night. And you can go there Tuesdays through Saturdays, and they're also really good about making last minute appointments or changing a time if you've had a conflict come up. They understand that life happens, and they are there for you. They're wonderful. Go check them out, grab some stickers while you're there, and let them know we sent you. It really helps us out, and it helps them out as well. All right, on to takes here. So I felt we actually controlled the tempo, just the general flow of the majority of this game better than we did against Cincinnati. Still chaos ball for sure. We got caught out by the first goal, but I don't know. The stats showed like the possession, the majority, like where the control was of the match, mostly in our favor, and that's how it felt to me.
Yeah.
My off, or
And
how
that
did I see it?
is and that is opposite of Cincy, where I think we had just under 40% possession. Was it?
Yeah,
where
but
it
not
ended?
even
It
possession,
was-
but like just control the flow. It just felt
But-
like we
but-
were dictating better.
Right. And I think that it felt that way in part because of the possession, which I thought
okay,
was
fair.
another thing. And the reason I'm making that point is that I think that it shows that we, in this formation, can be adaptable and play two different types of ball in the same formation. Whether like we have succeeded now not having the ball and having more of the ball. And I think
In a similar
that-
setup. It's a very good point.
in a similar setup. So
Very good point.
I found that encouraging from the standpoint of, if you wonder, is the coaching starting to click? Are we starting to get an idea of what this system is? Right? You've been talking a lot, Glenn, about what's Ronnie Ball. Like, what are we supposed to be doing? And
I
we
think
talked
it's-
about
I
last
think it's
pod
the
that it's like
speeches.
channeling chaos. So
I think it's the
And-
speeches. Jack agrees with me. It's all down to
Yeah.
the speech.
Yeah, that definitely. Yeah.
It was a barn burner.
He's not. He's
Definitely
I'm
gonna
not.
be on
I'm
a
not gonna do
t-shirt.
my
I'm not
impression
sure
of it
which
unless
word.
I get in trouble.
If I speak. What do y'all make of this high line we've been holding? And are we going to get in trouble when we go to Red Bull if we decide to play this high line like we have been? Or, we may, there's going to be some heavy legs for sure. Maybe we play a little
Yeah.
deeper, safer at Red Bull Arena.
I don't-
Because
yeah.
there's risk with this, especially without Steen back there. We saw it.
I don't. The good part about this morphing 5-3-2, 3-5-2, maybe sort of do a diamond with Miggy down below. Like, just there's like 4 or 5 different ways they can in game formulate this. Is that you can't absorb pressure with it too. Like we've got the guys in the legs to I think it seems to be the idea here is if we can absorb pressure, get it to Moranchuk, spit it out to Saba, and then you've got 4 guys on the left that
Do you
left of him
trust
that
a
can-
player like Saba to be able to absorb pressure too?
Not as much as, but I mean the point.
You know what I'm
I mean,
saying?
the point is that you can put a lot of guys back there. Like you can put Slitch back there and be in that role if he needs to be.
I think that-
heck, I like Alexi moving further back more than anything. Honestly, so that he's in
For
the
sure.
play earlier than
sure.
trying to figure out what the hell to do with the ball at the top of the box. And there's 3 guys who should be with the ball instead of him at the top of the box, either ripping a goal or doing a sort of something. So being able to scoot back a little bit to open up more space to run in front of you, which seems to be
I
the
don't
whole
know.
point of like that. That's the soccer I enjoy. That's soccer that seems to work for us too. is what we can.
I don't know.
work in
I think
space.
the last 2 games, though, he's played higher up the field, and that's been beneficial for us. We
It's
have
been in the
done
box.
better with him being more instrumental in
Well,
crashing
like
into
he
the
can push
box. And
up
he
at
talked
the
about that in his post game
right
about
moments,
how
be in the
it's
box at the right
different for him,
moments.
and that's where
That's
he
my
needs to be.
that's my point. Is that we could do like it,
But on average,
how we've been able
Okay.
to do it has been good. Like we've scored
Mhm.
7 goals. Like hell yeah, it's working. Keep doing that.
Right.
But like it can morph into what it needs to be, and if it turns into like we are in a heavy legs situation and we just need to we have to pick our spots against Red Bulls, we can do that. Like there's ways that this formation can let us do that.
I wonder if whether they go more defensive. Like, for example, like the question is, okay, I think Brooks is likely a sub, but you could invert it and you could start Brooks because he hasn't played
Right.
and start off more defensively with a little more solid defense that way. Or if Matt Edwards is fresh enough, I guess you could go with him and Saba. I wonder if maybe Cobb gets rotated in, depending on how much we trust Matt Edwards's legs. He's young and he's got a lot, and I hate not having him in his presence on the field, but
Yep.
maybe if we're concerned about the defensive liability there, but we want to still play the same formation, maybe you put Cobb in so you have some fresh legs on the defensive side to make up for the defensive liability that you get with starting Saba.
Right. I imagine we'll get some forms of 30-60 subs the whole way. Just some dudes who played only
after
15,
the third
20
match.
minutes
Yeah.
yesterday that are going to play 30
Yeah.
on Saturday, or start and flip it the other way where it is like Pedro plays the 60 and then comes like there's a lot of ways you can do this. Also, it's our
Usually,
last.
but you didn't see that rotation this game.
That's
And I
true.
get why you're at home. You only had one change though.
We'll
Right,
see more
yeah.
of this one.
Yeah,
I'm
I
sure
know.
of
Also,
it.
it's our last match for a while too, so like you can kind of leave it all out there for this match. Like
You had to get the 3 points at home, man. We
Yeah.
talked about this
Yeah.
in the last
Oh,
pod.
yeah.
Like, go hard here, get these 3 points, and dig out what you can at Red Bull Arena.
Right,
If a
exactly.
miracle happens and you get all 3, that's great. If you get a point, that's okay. If you lose, that's not great, but you could try to understand. You got to put the emphasis on the home points, which we haven't done enough of this year. And, but anyhow, it's nice to see us being a little bit braver with our passing. It's risky, but we made more attempts at through balls on the floor and not just like aimless fucking rocket crosses to no one. Probably some of that has to do with Brooks not being there.
Yep.
Disrespect.
Yeah, that's a 1-to-1 causation thing right there. Yep.
Pretty much.
I would submit that early in the match, I and my new friend sitting in front of me, who also was quite annoyed at the fact that it does not seem that anybody on our team for extended periods of time crashed the back post.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
we keep, and that's not just a Brooks thing. They shot it at the back post 3, 4, 5 times in
Okay,
that
fair.
first 15, 20 minutes. And it was so irritating watching 3 guys crash in the middle and not a one of them even thinking about being on the back post. So
Yeah.
Fair.
That's
fair.
I get it. I
Yeah.
am not saying that Brooks is blameless. But
No, I hear you.
It speaks to the attacking minds, like just the lack of attacking spacing. We haven't figured it out all the way. That's for darn sure. Like,
And to be honest with you, I have started to think that may be the difference between Amador and like what Hernandez was trying to do and what Brooks usually tries to do. Because one thing that Pedro is seemingly very good at, though he has his wild crosses too, is he seems to be able to put that perfect ball that doesn't go to the back post but hits the guy making the middle run.
Right.
That's how he
Yeah.
gets so many of those headers.
Yeah.
I think
He plays
and
it into
feels
space
like the
better.
rest of our guys really are more adept, I guess, at times at hitting the back post area versus that's picking out that perfect, space.
I wish we had played the ball more into space last night. We were
That's
playing
what-
more
that's
at
what-
feet.
That's what irritated me a lot. Is like there was so many little moments where Saba had space to run into, or or just anyone else that Marancha could have got found. Like it's just there's open space where you run to. Like just put the ball there, force the like. There was so many moments where you could have forced the issue even more, and just get Orlando on the back foot. Like push them back.
It did feel hesitant at the beginning. It didn't feel totally out of control, but it felt hesitant. And I think that hesitance ultimately was kind of part of what contributed to the goal because there was a hesitance in closing that space down and it was very minor. But Jay, they're caught out of position. They don't close the space, and it's
Yep.
a really nice little tap. You have to give credit to the Orlando guy for taking it down
Yeah.
and just kind of putting it on a platter, and Ojeda just blasts through it. But I think that we had some hesitation in the beginning that was kind of the opposite of how we played once the red card happened.
Yeah, exactly.
Where we were then completely invested.
Weirdly, it was like kind of after those first 20 minutes, like once Orlando had put that one through us, and then we kind of like we settled in into that the range we usually suck in. Like we were like, okay, they kept building into the game. I do hate how they just, in moments where they could inconvenience a team more, they don't do it every single time. Like you want to get opponents' defenses out of rhythm as much as you can, just create chaos back there, get them out of sync, and we still don't do that all the way, which is I thought was the whole point of our offense, was to do things like that. And like even if it's to nobody, like make them run, like make them do something, make them think about it.
I think in a weird way though, Orlando scoring as early as they did actually did us a favor.
Yeah, I agree.
Because we were
absolutely
in a weird headspace and we were being hesitant. And I think getting kicked in the teeth forced us.
We've seen that a lot over the years.
Adjust.
Yeah.
And we've seen this
time and time again.
Version of this team. But at least this time we got kicked and we didn't stay down.
No, we didn't. We got back up and we kicked back. Yeah.
The attitude's so much better now. It's so much. I mean, it was dreary in March. It was dreary. And this team looks like they know how to battle in any situation now, which is very, very good to see.
100%. Like my nephew was with me. He doesn't get to go to many games, and when we got scored on, 3 minutes in, that's the first thing I told him. Like there's still a lot of game to play. That's what you got to tell yourself when you give up something that early. Like, okay, well, we've still got basically the whole game to fix this, so it might as well be 0-0 in your head when that happens. I was glad to see the team embody that spirit.
Hey, we got a new Conti call. Unleash the Sleesh.
That was stellar. I need a banner now, please.
It'll get made. I promise you. Shirts,
happen.
Stickers, like it's all in the works already
sure.
from multiple supporter groups. It's happening. I can guarantee that. Take away his goal, which by the way had an XG of 0.05, 5% chance of it being a goal. Golasso. It better win goal of the week. Like Messi, I'm sorry. No.
I saw the other contenders. They were not worthy.
DC's close. I think DC's close. I do have to say, though, that Atlanta fans complaining about, well, of course it's going to be Messi. He could just have a tap and it would be goal of the week.
Ooh,
let's be
calling kettle black.
Let's be real. We have won a number of these votes when perhaps we shouldn't have.
Hey, we're just better at typing and using the internet. That's
right. We stuff
on
ballot
other
boxes,
fan bases.
but we should stuff this one.
We are good at.
I think that they had to design. They actually changed the way that they did the voting because of what we did. And then, if you didn't notice, there were several times where we arguably should have had a goal of the week. I mean, a slam dunk goal of the week candidate, but we had one the week before, and so it didn't end up on the list.
Those were the good years.
So
we are good at a
we got to take our
democracy.
licks when we're down.
Look, take away his goal though, and he still had a great game.
Yes,
won 4 duels, 3 out of 4 of his tackles, 4 ball recoveries. Was only dispossessed once. Got his foot on the ball. Pitbull, we've been asking for it. He was hyping up the crowd. Just being the cheerleader captain-esque material, like that vibe. We've been missing that. And he's not like a big, stocky dude, but he was given that energy, and we need that.
I think he's showing the last couple of games why, when Goose was not in, he was wearing the captain's band. Like, he was doing that. And, we've seen that side of Bartosz, and it's nice to see that guy playing. And I almost, for my bingo card, scratched out Miggy's name and put Bartosz in for the lung-busting run, because that run that he does just full on to make sure on that ball that almost stayed in. And that's a moment that if you're honest with yourself, you've seen us F up and just give up on that ball. And then the next thing you know, that's a goal. It was nice to see that. And I think when he did that, it was like something in the stadium. And it was nice to see the crowd give a nice
react
cheer
to
for
it.
that
He had a
too.
number of
And then
those
that too.
moments of like, let's go, and the team can
Yeah.
respond to something like
Yeah.
that, whether it's a run, hard tackle, shit-eating grin from Cleek, whatever. There were those moments sprinkled throughout this game from a few players, but Barto especially. Do we know? Is it Bartek or is it Bart? Is it both?
Bartosz, Bartek. I think it's all. It's
I
seemingly all.
Jack, do you
I've
have
heard
any
him
insight
called
on
all
this?
version of it by people who should know.
I don't. I like hyper Anglicanize it and like go Bartek, like really, really botch it, which is rude of me,
If
honestly.
you're gonna botch it
I
proper.
You know what? I realizing I lost an opportunity. I was sitting next to some Polish fans. They had a Polish flag after the match and everything, and I just didn't think to ask. Like,
Well, next time.
yeah, well,
For sure.
I'll never sit in these seats again, honestly. So I may have lost my one chance here, but there was a group of Poles there that was cool to see them have a nice little moment after the match when it was like, okay, he had a big one.
Let's move on to the fun part. Alexi. So,
Woo!
he has received a ton of criticism, not only from everybody on this pod and myself, but I think from the majority of the fan base, and I don't think it's misplaced. I have called him a bust and the biggest mistake we have made. Raise my hand to that. I also said I would happily eat those words. So,
Winning solves
am
everything.
I preheating the oven at this point?
You absolutely
Am
are.
I getting out some ingredients? Do I have a spatula?
I think you got the brownie mix out. You've preset it to 425. There's a couple eggs on the counter now. The oil you've already measured out. You got the cups ready to measure out the vegetable oil already. You're right there. You're getting close. You're getting close.
Look.
Yeah.
If I roll back the tape, I believe I may be the only person on this podcast that has not criticized Alexi.
I
and has,
knew
in fact,
you were gonna say
defended
it.
him, referred to Miggy as salt.
Yeah. So if you're not watching the video, she's now showing us her Alexi tattoo.
My Alexi tattoo.
neck tat. Right?
Yes, I'll be putting this right here.
Yeah, for sure. That would be
No.
He's kind of a goofy looking guy. That would be a pretty goofy tattoo. No disrespect, Alexi, but you're kind of goofy looking, man. But your shirt game is great.
Miggy is also very goofy. If you ever looked at pictures of Miggy closely, in the most endearing, amazing way.
Correct.
You know, so it's okay to be a little goofy.
I do appreciate.
I am excited for Alexi to have these couple games.
Yeah.
I hope that can result in the other guys also this next match starting to see some of that success, because then, like I said, we'll really be cooking, because the other players seem to be now on the same page, or he seems to be on the same page with them. Either way, I'm happy. So, Glenn, I personally think that you should be ready to cook some brownies next game. Red Bulls.
I don't mind. I'll
have your oven ready.
I'll do it. I do appreciate what he's doing, the tough times he's been through. I appreciate his post-game comments where he never really takes credit for himself and the things he's doing. He is a very team-centric guy, which I appreciate. It was never personal, Alexi. You just... look, if we kick on and we do something special, like Ronnie said in his amazing post-match speech, like Independence Day levels speech, right? I'm not selling this at all. It's fine.
Nope.
Let's be honest, Glenn. If we agreed on everything, it would be boring too. So.
And Ronnie doesn't want us to be boring. He said that in his post-game comments. Being average is boring. We don't want to be average. Rather be above average rather than below. But if we kick on and we do postseason, whatever, we win something. I don't know, whatever, a good season. I don't think what we were dealing with in these past few months was still real. What we were seeing was still real and still every bit as concerning.
Yeah.
You know, we weren't, I don't think, being hyperbolic in any way and doom and gloom. Like, there was very little hope, and all of a sudden things have flipped and turned and a switch has been on, whatever metaphor you want to use. So I don't think we should
100%.
discount any of that. And clearly everybody was just as worried. Ronnie, Garth, everybody. So
absolutely. No,
it doesn't make
absolutely.
those
And the criticism was not unwarranted. I'm just saying there was a reasonable argument, right, as to what was causing that particular doom and gloom.
Yeah.
right? That's all.
Yeah. Coming from the Alexi stand.
Like I said last pod, I just hope that he is excited and happy, and I really think it is because he wants to be here. And I think
Yeah.
I think that we have called out, in addition to wanting pit bulls, we need guys who are going to inspire this locker room and make that, la banda je ne sais quoi stuff happen, right? That you need that chemistry. Somebody said earlier, I think that like if we had hydrogen and oxygen, we couldn't make water. Like that's
That was a comment we received a few matches
right.
ago.
So shout out to whoever said that.
I forget who it was, but
That was
appreciate that.
that was a
Good. That's
legitimate
good.
criticism
It's good.
of how we were playing at that time. And now I'm glad to report that we seem to have gotten at least an easy bake oven, and we may just be cooking with gas next match. Let's see how far we can push this terrible metaphor.
Jack, you got anything else before we close this out?
I mean, it does contextually suck that like his position is a massive linchpin as to how well a team is going to do or not do. So, like, were other parts not working and seemed to be helplessly broken? Yes, it wasn't just him for that whole March to April stretch. But if you're going to start, like, he needs to be working well for this engine to work well consistently. And our best,
Absolutely,
our best tens, our our best years have been when we've had very good people in that range. Whether it's him, whether Barkett was in that position, but like people that were in that part of the field that could make things go and unlock the top third of the field. And if we're not doing that, which what I was reiterating earlier, it's like it's not all the way there yet. He's not getting the ball into those spaces every single time. He's missing there's spots where we're still hesitant or going sideways or going backwards and letting defenses get more guys behind, which is not the way that's going to help us most of the time. But it's getting there. Like there was a lot of more moments where they could also just doing it and like seeing it go in the net. Like that does a lot. Like I hear this in basketball. If you're shooting and you're in a slump, you keep shooting because you'll get out of it eventually. Like you can't just. It's not a turn it on thing. It's you play through the bad part to get back to your normal part more than
absolutely.
anything.
I'm really glad that you made the point about you need to get, if you're in a slump, the guy you need to get going is that guy in that position, regardless of who he is. That's the position, right? You have to get going, because I think that's why, people were questioning, like, why do you keep starting Alexi? Why do you keep playing him? Why is he there? Et cetera, through all of this. This is why, because if you're going to get this team going, as you said, Jack, historically it starts with his position. Whether you believe that or not, that is what history would tell you. And so let's see. He's getting going. And now I think it's a perfectly fair criticism that he's got to now get the other two guys unlocked. Like he was the start of this, this starting the machine was him, but now you got to get the other guys going to really push it forward.
And what's good now is with how freaking good Jay is right now too, and can be another valve for this as well. Like, I mean, I would not be shocked if
I like their pairing. They switch back and forth, and then you do get some Alexi back, like you were saying, and some forward with the two of them.
Having that where it's not all on his shoulders is so much, and just makes it harder for defenses too. Like if Jay can be like this consistently, we're going to be probably calling Jay one of the most, if not the most important player on the team for just how much he can change the dynamic of this team. Like he may not be Latte maybe still scores 13 goals and it's like, well, on paper he's the best player or whatever, but it's like kind of the Nagby situation where it's like, well, without this guy, you ain't seeing 13 goals.
Yeah, without Nagby, Columbus isn't Columbus.
Right,
they have other good players. They have the best coach in the league.
There's a reason why Nagby has won a cup at every team he's ever played.
You're damn right.
That's just a reality.
You're damn right.
You put the right guys around that guy, and you have a cup.
Yep.
Just like
we got one.
Just
he was a massive part of it.
It doesn't happen without him.
No, it doesn't.
It doesn't happen without him.
100%.
He is the difference between 2017 and 2018. The singular number one difference between those two teams, because 2017 was quite a good team, is the acquisition of Nagby. I think.
I still miss Carlos Carmona.
Wow, throwback.
I wish he would come anywhere in the United States because he's the one guy that I do not have the signed program. All the programs.
I've got him.
Series.
I've got him.
He's the only one I do not have. I have the program, but not signed. It's very frustrating to me, Glenn.
Well, Maybe we put him on a 1-day contract. He comes back, retires a 5-stripe. Kind of.
If anybody has a connection in Chile or wherever he is these days, please let me know. I'd love to get
We'll
something.
check on him. At some point this season, we will do another one of our Where Have All the Five Stripes Gone episode for the five-a-side, where we catch up on where everybody is at and what they are up to, because everybody wants to know what is Kubo Torres and Jurgen Damm up to.
What is a Florentine Pogba?
That's true. What is a Florentine?
What is a Florentine?
All right, that'll about do it for this match. But have no fear, we will not be gone long, because we will have another match to talk about just tomorrow with Decatur FC playing Atlanta Fire United tomorrow night outside. Well, if you're listening to this on a Friday, tonight at Decatur High School. Kickoff again, 7 p.m. like they always are. 5 p.m. starts the pre-match in Decatur Square outside O'Sullivan's. Get some food, get some beer while you're there. Say hi to Gareth and to Joel and all the players. They're accessible. They're out there. It's a good time. Hoping for another big turnout on top of another win. We already smashed a record last week. It'd be great. Let's just smash that record. Let's just smash our own records. It's easy to get to. Parking is free at Decatur High School. MARTA's right there. It's $10. It's $10, man, for adults. $5 for kids. The kids get to come onto the pitch at halftime, kick a ball around. They get to meet all the players at the end and have them sign stuff, ask questions. Like, this is grassroots football, and it's a good opportunity to come out and see real pathways being developed for young girls in the state, in our community. And we do mean real pathways, because hopefully soon we will be able to announce some exciting stuff that some of these players are opportunities that are going to come their way, and they're going on to bigger and better things and putting Decatur, Georgia, little Decatur, Georgia, on the global map. And I do mean the global map. That is some cool stuff happening. Slight chance of rain tomorrow, but we rain when it rains.
Yes, sir.
Wet surface, so that should make for a faster, even more exciting play. It is a good time. Amy and I will be out there covering the match. Soccer Down Here will have the call. I believe John Nelson will be out there again, so come say hello to him. He always enjoys fans coming up and greeting him, and, you know, it's all about community building. That's what we're here for. That's why we love this game. I mean, I want trophies. Don't get me wrong. I want wins. I want all those things. But first and foremost is community. And we are still in mental health awareness month. And it's just a good thing to connect with your community. Whatever your community is, this is our community, and we should all stay connected to it. Don't isolate. Don't be alone. Come out. Be with us. Be with your friends. Experience something positive. And watch some really good football, man. Like, these girls are the real deal. They're real athletes. And what they can do pinging a ball around third game in a week is it's ridiculous. I mean, I'm winded after 20 minutes, so you know I'm impressed by them. But we will be there for that, and then we got Red Bulls Saturday night, Red Bull Arena. So here's Atlanta's match schedule coming up over this 6-game road stand that we are on, and I'm curious from each of you. Point total, what do you think we get? So we got 18 points on offer. We've got New York Red Bull, New York City, Columbus, which I will be there for, Messi and Friends, DC, and Toronto, who I almost hate more than any other team. Toronto's frustrating. They've taken a lot from us. So we've got those 6 matches, 18 points. What are you hoping for? What do you think's realistic?
I think I want to say if we get 11 points, I'm very pleased with that. That's
Yeah.
right. And I think we could do that. I think we could get 3 wins,
2 draws, and a loss. Woo!
Yeah. I think we could do it.
Lord have mercy, that would be
Get
amazing.
cracking.
Well, but we have to. Like, if we had gotten the business done at home of those, our home matches, you don't need that. We need that, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Jack?
I mean, the hope is 18. Like, that's always the hope. Is all of them.
Aim high, baby.
All
Aim
of
high.
them 4-0 wins. Like, why not? Why not us? Realistic. I don't think I can go to 11. But 8 is where I'm feeling right now.
11's my high, right?
Yeah.
11 is my
Please go to 11.
aspirational.
I'm
like
in a
to-
6 to 8 range here. I also don't like these teams that we're playing in the stretch either, like at all, which is the real kicker for me. It's like there's no Salt Lake game here where we can just like
Remind,
we'll just
but
throw three
remind
in.
me though, isn't there an international window when this will change? And I know it'll hurt us some, but
Yeah,
is
so
that
we
not
play
now?
Saturday and then that
And
again.
Club World Cup and some
Schleich
other
has been
things
called
that
up.
maybe.
Cleach is gonna be
I
out. So
mean,
we'll see
Schleich
about the
has been
Miami
called
game.
up.
The Miami team
but
might be not that Miami team also because
That's
that'll
true.
be late
so
June.
Depending
I'm
on what
saying
they do in
I'm
the Club World Cup.
factoring that into my
Yeah.
I think we could go on a run because
That'd
Okay.
be
for
ideal.
once I'm not sure the international call-ups hurt us as much as they do some of the teams that we're about to play,
We'll see.
who
Okay.
are also
Yeah.
quite good
Yeah,
and
yeah.
have several international players.
I'm at 50%. 9,
So you
10
think
points.
9
9,
points?
10 points. I think that's if we get 11, like I'm pretty well over the moon with
Yeah.
that. That's incredible. Anything beyond that, I think is like calm down. There's no way. If we did, then I'm like, just give us the trophy now. If we get more than 11, I just hand us the trophy now. Just call it, pack it in, guys. Atlanta's won this thing. 50%, I think is something that we're not wringing our hands over. If we're at 8 or below, then we're still in trouble. Unfortunately, that would be a fine total if we hadn't dropped all these points at home. But the
Keep in
reality
mind-
is, you have to go on the road and pick points up.
This is MLS, where as long as you are breathing, you're in the playoffs.
I
So
forgot about that. You are correct, sir. If
It
you
is-
have a pulse,
you make it, and that is
And you
exactly
can
what we did
stand.
last year.
you're
Uh,
in.
so
Yeah.
it's-
Well, Galaxy might be testing that. Now, look,
This is true.
I swear to God, if the Galaxy make the postseason, the whole postseason's a joke.
It just needs to go.
The whole thing's regular season's a joke. Like, come on.
No
I
way.
think-
At this point, if you've got 4 points and you still make the postseason,
Something had to go really wrong. Something
We've
went
got the
real
ratings.
wrong.
with everybody else, because there's not anything. I don't care who they sign in the summer transfer window. I just struggle to believe that they would make
It's too much.
that much of a difference. This is
No.
so far beyond zombie Seattle,
Oh, well past.
Yeah,
They're dead.
yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's just like
They're
no.
dead.
It's
They're
wild
dead.
that this and the current Colorado Rockies, who are on track to be the worst baseball team since the 1890s, are playing at the exact same time. This is really
Wow, that's
yeah.
that's
Yeah,
quite
this
a
is the
record.
Rockies. This is the White Sox from last year. Worse.
The Rockies are on track to be worse than last year's White Sox. That's how bad it's gotten
Wow.
over there. Yeah, that's how bad it is over there.
L.A. Rockies.
I forgot to mention this. Bring this up.
Sure.
Are passbacks to keepers allowed now? Because it's happened in the last 2 games.
I am.
and I don't
This
know
one
what
was
the
a
hell.
pass
Thank
back
you.
for me.
Thank
The other one
you.
I think was
Thank
just a
you.
touch, but this was, I think, a back pass.
This was a
The
direct
last
pass.
one, I could see an argument, though I was livid and felt in real time that it was a back pass. Totally
Oh.
agree with you, Jack. I'm so glad you brought this up.
Hmm.
But this one, I went apoplectic. I think
Right.
I went in the chat and was like, do they just not call this anymore? Like,
I-
I don't understand. Did I
Back
forget
pass.
the rules of the game?
Agreed.
Because this was so blatant.
Yeah.
And even Orlando knew it, and they were just like,
It seemed like they thought. It seemed like they knew it was going to be legal.
It's
like-
it's almost
This
like
isn't
this
gonna get
guy
called.
was so stunned that it happened that he forgot what the penalty was for doing it. Like
Right.
because you never see this indirect kick in the box or whatever it is that's supposed
Right.
to happen because you just don't do this. And yet,
Yeah,
two games in a row.
it's very convenient rule applications and not rule very conveniently on a just quick. I mean, thank God they called the red on the neck
Lucky
grab,
he
but it's
pulled
like
the hands to the neck because he
Right.
obviously was blind based on this call.
it's yeah.
However,
I don't know why they do this. Like I played very little real soccer in my life, but I know that rule. I was very clear. It's like never
it's very clear.
never do that.
Very
I've
clear. Don't do
seen-
that.
I have seen rec league soccer goalies, and my dad included, fall victim to this rule because it's just not obvious. And you
Should be
learn
an
it's like,
indirect free kick.
yeah, I don't know what the rule is. I've been in the room with PRO referees, and let me just tell you, not surprised.
Fair enough. All right. Well, at least, if nothing else, this 6 games, it's all East Coast. So travel, time zones, at least it's all here, and we don't have to go out to an RSL or a wacky game in San Jose, you know.
We've only got
In and
one.
out of the country.
We've only got one
You can
soccer
get
after
Toronto,
dark
and it's at the end,
Do we? Which one?
right? Toronto's the last game of this stretch, right?
of this stretch, yeah, but there's no soccer after dark basically the rest of the season for us, unless you count the Colorado game.
Okay, well, that's not so bad.
Yeah, we play very few West Coast teams at all now because of the league size.
Yeah.
Right.
It's
Yeah,
it's a
yeah.
little it's a little low key disappointing, like how infrequently we will play
It
a
does
lot of
suck.
teams. It's becoming
Yeah, I
much
hear you.
more like the
I
NFL
mean,
in
I'm
that
kind
way.
of happy for it for right now. If we're gonna go 6 games on the road, let's just make that
Right.
as
At least
easy
we're
as
not. At least we're
possible.
not
Agree.
going to LA twice, or LA and then back home, and then Seattle
Right.
and then back home, or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
could
Yeah. Yeah.
suck.
Yep.
That could suck.
All right. Well, we will be back either Friday or Saturday to talk about Decatur FC. Then we'll be back Sunday to talk about a result at Red Bull Arena. A result at Red Bull Arena. And I don't know, kick on from there. I feel good. I don't want to say confident yet. I feel hopeful. There is something that could make me feel confident. We'll see if we get it done on
They got to do it
Saturday
again.
night.
They still got. They did it. We asked them to do it again the first time, and they did it again. But you still
Sure.
got to do it again.
You got to do it again and again. And Ronnie mentioned that in his amazing post.
Oh, we agreed on something. All right. I guess he's a
Amazing
good coach.
post-match speech. You got to. I'm telling you.
Let's
Just
pack
dig
all
for
the
little
white
nuggets in there.
t-shirts.
All right, y'all. We appreciate you listening and supporting us and FanTV and Mason Mill and Decatur FC and your community and each other and this team. You know, be with each other, take care of each other, check on your people, send a text, phone call out of the blue. You'd be surprised. That shit means more than you might think of someone just asking how you're doing that day. It's an innocuous, tiny little thing. You might not think it means much. It does. It can mean a lot to that person because you just never know what a person is going through, you know? So be there for each other. All right, y'all. We will be back in just a couple of days' time. Until then, y'all be good. We will be back. Somebody's got the meow. Who's got the meow?
Meow.
That was almost like a Top Gun meow. A very hoarse Top Gun meow.
Yeah, I don't have much of a voice right now, so I'm sorry, Kat. I apologize.